Hey, what's up, everybody? Purpose Driven Live Sports, and I'm back here for another NBA Finals breakdown. So tonight is Game 6, Oracle Arena. So, if Golden State loses this game, they're officially eliminated. But it's going to be hard to do that, especially since this is the last game in Oracle Arena. Fans are going to be rocking the building. The players to me are going to go down. And to me, Golden State's gonna really gut this one out, and they could blow this game out. To me, it doesn't really matter. I just believe that Golden State will win. And to me, one thing I know is that Klay Thompson will have a big game. Usually in Game Sixes, he kind of steps his game up because, in his words, he doesn't like to go home. He loves to play basketball. So usually in Game 6 is when he has his best performance. He shot like 57% from three in this series, anyway. So to me, that's a given. So when he's getting his looks, he's usually making over 50% of them, which is ridiculous. Steph also played a great game last game. Got cold in the second half, like I said in the last video. But what, excuse me, what happened was when he needed to make a three, he was there. He made the three to tie the games. Then Klay hit the three to put the cherry on top when he hit the three to take the lead. So. And one thing you can probably count on too is that Kawhi Leonard's probably gonna have a big game because Kawhi Leonard's not a guy who shies away from big moments. It's just not what he is. But I don't know. I really am not sure because in the last game, in a big moment, we didn't really see the Toronto Raptors besides Kawhi Leonard step it up and get baskets. And I don't know if they can do it really because this is the big stage. This is where it all happens. They lose this, they got to go home for Game 7, which is cool and all, but Golden State has won 2 games in Toronto. So you have to look at that factor. One thing I think Golden State will concentrate on is their defense because their defense and rebounding. If they're rebounding and playing defense, to me, they can easily win this game. But it's because sometimes, I read this comment from somebody, sometimes they kind of focus on getting the rebound and not focusing on their man and boxing out, which is a problem. You got to box out the nearest guy to you so you can get the rebound, so you can close out possessions because Golden State is doing a great job of contesting shots. The reason why Toronto scores a lot of times is because they're getting second shots and then guys are open. So in order for Golden State to really minimize that opportunity and kind of give themselves more possessions is because to me another reason why they're down is because they don't have as many possessions and Toronto's playing great defense. They can get out and transition more by getting rebounds on defensive stops. They can really get into their own tempo. Even though Toronto does like to push it, Toronto to me isn't like the team that Golden State is with their tempo. In terms of tempo, Golden State plays at this high, fast-paced ball movement. And when the ball is popping and moving, then that's how guys like Steph and Klay get open. That's how other guys on the team get open. For Golden State to do that, they're going to have to close out possessions by getting rebounds and also limiting transition. Because you can get back on transition by just getting back, finding a guy who's closest to you, I think. First guy back is always guy on the ball. I think the second guy back is always the man at the rim. Unless it's the man at the rim, then guy on the ball. It doesn't really matter. They just have to, in order for them to win this game, also it's transition. You got to be able to stop transition buckets. That's going to be a huge thing. So for Toronto, though, if I'm going to give Toronto a key, it's that you got to make sure that Klay and Steph had limited looks at three because last game, the Warriors shot, I think it was over 40% from three, which is the highest they shot this series. So if Golden State has another game like that, then Golden State wins this game. Because to me, the team that's shot better from the three-point line has won pretty much every game. But Golden State has to rebound. They got to play defense. They got to limit transition points. They got to get their own transition points as well. And I think turnovers are going to be a big key as well. If Golden State is not turning the ball over, or if you're turning it over, but if it's minimized, then they can especially win. What I would think of is that if you're a team, what you want to do is at least you'd rather shoot a bad shot to me than turn the ball over. Because if you shoot a bad shot, let's say you airball, you airball, but guess what? The team has to take it out of bounds. If you turn it over, it's a lot of times a live turnover is a live ball, which means somebody's picking it up and racing to the rim. Then you got situations where you're 2-on-1, 3-on-1, 3-on-2. So Golden State isn't really, because of the lack of size, really, they don't want to get into that type of matchup because they don't really have mobile bigs like the Raptors do. So that's something they need to pay attention to, have great attention to detail in terms of that area. And to me, if they're doing that, then they're going to pull this game out. So my prediction, as you guys already know, I'm going with the champs. I believe they're going to win the series, but to me, they're going to win this game first. They're going to go back to Toronto. This game is for both teams is really about their defensive, how they close out defense possessions. Which team is making more shots? Which team is defending better? Who's rebounding well? When Toronto's pretty much out rebounding Golden State the whole series. For Golden State to win this game, and I believe they will win this game, it's in terms of rebounding, defense, transition, they have to be a better defensive team first. And then you got to be a better rebounding team. Then you have to limit transition by not turning the ball over and giving Toronto extra possessions. That's going to give Toronto less opportunities to score on their defense, because to me, Golden State is an excellent half-court defense. They just a lot of times make mistakes, but where Toronto really gets teams, and especially they've got Golden State, is when they're in transition. You got Pascal Siakam coming downhill, or you got Kawhi Leonard, who's such a great finisher that it doesn't matter what you do because he's so strong that he just finishes. So limiting those opportunities is going to be huge. And if Golden State can do that, then they have this game in the bag. They know what they're playing for. They've been in this situation before. So, yeah, I'm picking Golden State. Going with the champs. Going down with the ship. If that happens, I don't believe it will. But to me, this is going to be a great game. I'm really excited. But I think that's going to do it for this video. Thank you guys for listening. This is my breakdown NBA Finals Game 6 in Oracle Arena. Starts at 6 p.m. Pacific time. Depending on where you are, it expands an hour later, so just be aware of that. But I hope you guys enjoyed the game. You guys can always leave your comments, and I'll always read them and reply. Thank you guys for listening to this video and watching, and I will see you guys again.